Khan, this is the Global Digest think tank group. So can you briefly introduce to our audience?
Thank you, John, for having me here on the Global Digest. It's a new to me. I am currently assistant professor in the State University in one of the northeastern states of India, Manipur. I think it has met global news for that reason. And I completed my higher education, including my PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. And I'm also uh, ICSSR fellow, and I visited the US also. Right now, I'm teaching both undergraduate and postgraduate students, and my focus area is on American studies, and I'm looking into the minority rights and acculturation, and I'm trying to bring in India because India is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, where lots of
Right.
minorities, so citizens. That's my brief. Thank you for having me.
Right now, how did you see Indian foreign policy? Because India used to be very reluctant to engage with foreign policy, especially with America and yeah, alliance from Europe, usually neutral position. Let's see, how did you see current regime in India? They have uh, engaging more, or they remain neutral, or how they commitment in Indo-Pacific? What is Indian purpose? And in line with Indo-Pacific, as Indian government emphasize Northeast as East is look policy. So how they are related and connected? Can you explain us, please?
Sure. India's uh, position in the newly created this Indo-Pacific, which is uh, coincides with Asia Pacific also. It's very important and very significant in
Right.
the Indo-Pacific region because being the fourth largest country as well as being a democratic nation. So India has lots to do, and that's how the Western powers, particularly the United States and allies, so attracted to India, and there's some sort of pampering also is done for India to be active participant of that kind of uh, geopolitics, particularly in this Indo-Pacific region. I see India as a old civilization along with China in Asia or in the world, and India's power is increasing. So we can see in two things. For example, the one is the civilizational power, and second is its economic as well as its military power. That hard power is also there. So these two things are combining. The present regime under the Prime Minister Modi is quite popular here. His popularity is because he uh, tried to put India in this geopolitical dynamics as a formidable power which the United States or other Western powers cannot ignore, at least in 21st century. So for the United States, China has not become American. So China has become China. So China's in the last 2 3 decades, China's rise, particularly in the economic sphere, is formidable, and that is an alarming thing because it could change the global order which has been set after 1945. So it is an alarming. So it's a complete threat to the United States created led world order, global order. In this context, where existing superpower has been challenged by a new power, newly emerging power, that is China. India's stand particularly is very important. The West want to align with India militarily, but India, it's not about the regime from its independence. Its foreign policy is not of a military alliance. It's of an economic alliance. It's of a strategic alliance, but not military alliance with any power. So we have moved away from the non-alignment, which was sort of Cold War. uh, style of alignment. We are not neither with what to say, one sort of alliance, military alliance that some Asian countries also did during the Cold War with the United States and with the Soviet Union. We are neither with non-alignment nor with kind of aligning with any power. Increasingly, since the world is polarized into two powers, we are in the middle of it as a, one of the, you can say, major power, great power. We are having multi alignment. And multi alignment is focused on two things that we also don't want the United States style of leading, which is always military, which is very antagonistic. We don't want that. But nonetheless, our alignment with the United States is also important for the because the global structure as of now is highly democratic. We don't want it to replace with a non-democratic or not so familiar global order. So we don't want that. So our alignment is multifaceted. Our alignment is conditional. Our alignment is very strategic, which is rooted in India's civilization prowess, as well as looking into in reality our limitations as well.
So it's mean it we can say the same neutral, but the previous previous time in India is more silence neutral, but now more engagement. You said multi alignment engagement multiple way, not silence, more a little bit
Yes.
posturing, yeah, behavior, India behavior, but not really strong uh, like engagement. It's as you mean multi alignment is another kind of neutral, aggressive way posturing, I guess. But I don't know. Uh, India used to be one in that kind of position, but it will not much benefit the people of India. Maybe, I don't know, it may be more benefit for the regime. I don't know. If they make more engagement, there can be more economic, can be bring, and other things can be significantly help them, but they have to sacrifice something, some commitment in any engagement. So that is India engagement. But that way you said, it means India did not make any strong commitment, including Indo-Pacific geopolitics, right? They don't have any either bilateral or multilateral strong treaty agreement with the Indo-Pacific group. They don't have, right? India doesn't have strong
India,
treaty signing document or something. They don't have, right? Military also, they don't have. Only
you're
they
right.
have kind of a kind of informal meeting, you can say. How did you see?
Yes. It's a mixture of informal and formal. We cannot say for certain that we don't have a formal alliance. Our alliance is not formal when it comes to military. For example, the kind of committed with Japan and United States has, or the South Korea and United States has, or the United States and European powers, or any other US allies. We are allies, but not military allies. We are allies strategically as well as economically. We are very much into the United States circle, sphere of influence. In that sense, we can say that our posture is also uh, it's, uh, it's against what China expects from India as a neighbor. That much we can say that because India and China has that Himalayan border tussles all the time, and it's increasing after 1962. It's been at the highest peak. So we can't certainly say that China and India will have the same relations. We are moving away from China and having a closer ties with United States, but our condition is hasn't changed. That is, India will not have, as of now, any military pact or alliance with the United States or any other Western powers, or be that non-Western powers. Ours is very, that is the red line that we have. Otherwise, we are part of G20, we are part of this Quad. So Quad is a kind of sort of like non-formal alliance. We are very much part of it, not only with the United States, with Japan, with Australia, the countries which have recently flared up issues with China. So we are very much part of it. But only thing is that we are conditioned with one thing, that is we are not going to have military pact with any of these powers.
What is connection with its looking policy with Indian foreign policy on geopolitics? Is there anything have done in Northeast India or any proper significant India government is doing? Because it's been talking for a long time. Now, by this time, it should show something, going on in Northeast or a significant improvement. Can you explain us?
Sure. I've been looking on these developments in now ACT's policy. The look has been changed from ACT by this particular prime minister under his leadership. So it has become ACT's policy. Uh, there has been development in the sense like strategic sense and economic sense also there has been improvement. The willingness to push with northeast region of India as the launchpad or fulcrum of this policy has been increased in degrees. But what is disappointing about ACT's policy is connectivity issue. With Burma now, like Myanmar in turmoil right now because of the civil war,
Right,
our connectivity, because we cannot just cross over Myanmar and reach Thailand or Vietnam. I mean, Burma is the bridge to connect rest of the 10 ASEAN countries or 9 ASEAN countries. So this is a setback, and this setback is not only because the Myanmar issue is very near. It's a structural problem for India also, in the sense that we, from my study, and this is not an official position of the government, but this is as a scholar I'm speaking, I see that there is a kind of gap when it comes to investment in the projects that India has committed to with respect to ACTIS policy and regarding ACTIS policy. For example, Kaladan, multimodal, the Asian travel, which start from my own state. So the investment is comparatively very meager, and now with the new Myanmar issue, the connectivity issue. But I would say that without connectivity issue, economic engagement, political engagement, strategic engagement will be a half-hearted thing, will not be complete. So connectivity
right.
issue, for example, if you have people to people, so that is the more important. I think the biggest failure in terms of economic issue is that after so many years, like more than 20 years, nearly 24 years, since the Look East policy was launched by Indian government as one of the foreign policy tool to engage with Southeast Asians nations. So is that the failure is that the bilateral relationship with ASEAN countries has not increased as expected. So that is the
But,
biggest failure. Yeah, which China has, I think, in a better way has done
but
outstandingly done, which has lacking. That is I see.
China engaged directly a lot of trade volume. Even now high-speed train can directly connect it to South Asia, and a lot of trading. I mean, mm, India been talking for a long time, but still, now we can say because of Myanmar military government, it's disconnected or connectivity problem. But my point is, uh, if there is a, a good connectivity once Myanmar is, uh, um, you know, uh, it become normal. well, India Northeast has any ready or anything ready for this connectivity or any program projects, but I did not know anything. There is any project related to Look East policy in India, in Manipur or Mizoram or any state in Northeast. I did not see any project because once connectivity is ready, what will be, uh, applied? So I mean, something from your India side need to do something ready for your policy. So just verbally have talking, but preparation is very weak, I guess, and almost none. And by the way, as you mentioned, the problem in Burmese border, and last time also, I mean, we had a lot of violence. So what's wrong in Manipur? Can you uh, briefly say your opinion?
Yeah, it's a very pertinent question, but again, very sensitized or an uh, sentimental topic. First of all, I just want to pick up where you started regarding what are the projects within the northeastern states. I think there are many land customs stations where has been built where easing off people to people. But the most important thing is that the free movement regime that India and Myanmar used to have, that means the Myanmaris can enter India for up to 15 kilometer inside the northeastern states, Mizoram, then Manipur and all. Then also the Indian citizens from the northeast region, especially, that has been scrapped after COVID-19. So that is the biggest setback also. And now with Manipur issue, the ethnic strife which is happening in this part of India. Now, I don't think that is in the near future. It will be open soon, or it will be uh, again resume. Regarding the Manipur issue, I think it's an internal issue. It is related with India's domestic, I mean, politics. I mean, electoral politics. When I say it's politics, electoral politics. Partly, it has no, even though there is hardly any connection with foreign policy, but it is also connected to what is churning out within Myanmar. Also, I also believe that if the coup that happened in February 1, 2021, did not happen, perhaps we would not have to see this kind of strife, because there is an allegations and counter allegations that Myanmar citizens who are not citizens of India have illegally entered into India, and they've been staying for many years. And now, after the coup, lots of people have been doing that. And this area is very, northeastern area is very volatile. And with the New Delhi, the new, not the new regime, it's been for last 10 years, the regime is very, in the sense, anti-refugee, what to say, immigrant. They have a stand. So with that, regional parties also, regional leaders are also playing within the Northeast uh, as a follow-up of what the national government or the party which is running the national government is also doing. So I don't want to move into or go into the intricacies of this domestic politics, because this domestic politics is very connected to the electoral politics,
I see.
and many aspects of it are very bad. It is against the national interest, and I don't want to go about it, because I think sometimes self censorship is also very important. Even if I want to say so many things as a political analyst, I can see that, and everybody is seeing that. But for the people who are in the survival mode, and majority of them are there, see that this region is comparatively backward. This region has lots of semi-feudal and feudal characteristics in the governance also, even though India is a democratic setup from the top, but at the bottom it is like it used to be 18th century, 19th century kind of feudal mindset, where there was princely states. So they thought like the political boundaries doesn't, should not interfere in the ethnic familial ties within ethnicities, within tribal regions. But the national government also does, even if they see, they refuse to see it because they have to play politics, because this part electorally also, uh, it doesn't matter, it's not significant, because my state has only two MPs out of 545 MPs sitting in the lower house of the parliament. So electorally seeing, this region, the whole seven states or eight states in the northeast region, including this particular state of Manipur, does not have significance in the electoral politics. But the issue arising from this thing, it wants to, play some kind of. So I see in that way, and I don't want to go into deep into it because people might ask, what do you have evidence and all. It's an ethnographic studies. I'm speaking from my observer, or observing, after observing from the experimental exploration point of view. So of course I can't give concrete evidence,
Right.
but
I mean,
this is.
it is something related to foreign policy as well because of refugee immigration, those
Sure.
things are part of foreign policy. I've been talking with a lot of professor and expert from different states and from also mainland India, from New Delhi or Mumbai or other places. A lot of professors, they all are always saying India is willing to support and help refugee. That is their policy. They are willing to help all the time refugee, like Burmese refugee and other country refugees. So there is a willingness of helping and supporting refugee. And also you see in Northeast Mizoram, I mean, some people can blame over blaming or something refugee or immigrant, but you see Mizoram has nothing problem. They have more refugee than Manipur, and Nagaland has nothing problem. So we cannot single out just for refugee and immigrant, And something else, maybe there are, as you mentioned, electoral issue also, There are many things inside Manipur. And
That is
I mean,
that is the
there
main
are
issue.
many ethnic city in Manipur as well. And I mean, they both are also working with central government and local government, And and I told last time one of professor about union territory issue. So is there any possible for other ethnic group they can uh, they can propose union territory to avoid conflict, such thing in Manipur? In Manipur, how did you view about union territory?
There is already a demand. It's in the public forum. Everybody knows it. Union territory issue, separate administration. But I honestly think that, not as a Manipuri or not as a sub-ethnic group belonging to a majority
Right.
ethnic group.
You
No,
have
I'm not
many
talking
ethnic
from that.
group.
Yeah, I'm talking from simply as a scholar, as an independent human being. One way of addressing is uh, through secularism angle, and one way of addressing is by giving the proper due governance, what to say, by fixing governance issues, that, that the politics of recognition as well as the politics of that resource distribution, these two should be given. And I think it can be done politically, but not by dividing, because once one ethnic community has been given, another community in Assam will earn, then it will become a 50-year struggle. But you cannot dissect the whole territory just to, fulfill a particular communities, or it cannot be. I think it's not feasible from the political science angle, and sentimentally also, I think this will not create a peaceful thing. The perpetual peace will never come.
I mean, there should be conflict resolution, It will be the best if those involved in the conflict, the community who involved in the conflict, both sides mutual agreement will be the best. But Otherwise, there should be another alternative by state government. If you can solve state government level, that is okay. But if state government cannot do, the last option may be central government. Central government can decide, right? India system, union territory is mainly, it is up to central government, not by local community or local state cannot do anything. Only central government, whether they want or they don't want, they make direct decision. I know like that. So that is maybe your India system solution. So I'm not sure how the local people can mutual, you know, settle down, or how state government can make, negotiation. It's a too, difficult issue, I guess, in Manipur.
Yeah, the state government's time is up practically if we see like that. I mean, the two communities are not, or the communities in which are in warring uh, situation are not trying to negotiate, are not in the mood to negotiate. I think it's the central government, the union government's job now to settle this issue for once and all. And I again reiterate that by giving territorial autonomy or anything else, this solution may temporarily solve, may, but it's not a solution because it will create another problem. The solution is to be addressed, resolved permanently by addressing the twin issues of politics of recognition, identity politics, and politics of land resource, that is resource distribution. So distribution and redistribution, these two twin challenges has to be resolved, is to be it is to be addressed through these two twin problems. These are the solutions also,
Because
and
you
it can be
said
done
electoral issue also problem, and I see Manipur state is also a lot of left wing in terms of socialism, communism, or pro military authoritarian, like Assam Rebel Group or something. I don't know the name. They
yeah, yeah.
more
Alpha.
left wing, right? And they cooperating with Burmese military government, and India government made uh, clear decision on the issue, and also India government did not make clear position on democracy movement in Burma. So if India government made clear position to support democracy, all democracy alliance should fight all these authoritarian alliance and left wing. But India government did not make clear position, so left wing has have a lot of activity in Manipur state. So that's also made a lot of problem in Burma because they cooperate with military regime, and we cannot uh, uh, able to make better democracy movement because they are working with Burmese military. So there should be clear ideology and position by your central government and even your state government. Also giving UT is not that big problem. I mean, in terms of dividing, it's not divide. We cannot see as dividing because in India, also mainland India, also a lot of state become two state, and even they have a lot of union territory. It's for easy to management because they are not, to tell you, separatists, not independent state, but within the central government, and there are many way cooperation. Even UT mean they may have some kind of still link with Manipur state government. So I don't know that India left wing rebel is very bad in Manipur, I guess. border between Manipur and Burma?
Regarding left wing, it started, I think, 60s and 70s to when they started, particularly the valley-based Manipur underground groups, or
Right.
the government of India has called them terrorist groups because they want to secede from India. So call it terrorist groups. So they had support from PLA, I mean PRC's PLA in the
And
beginning.
Burmese
I can't say
military
it as
government and support
yeah,
by Burmese military government, but India did not
yes.
make clear to support Burmese democracy. So India government is strongly connected with military government again, and that their friends is supporting their own enemy, their own insurgent, So that is a loophole in India policy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if there are many loopholes actually, but again, because it's an intricate issue also. Because suppose I give the example of India's support to the present junta Tatmadaw in, say, in your country. Now, if
Right.
India says, like, if India aligns with the United States and openly says that we don't recognize the military junta, what will China do? China is playing with the three brothers, with Wash, state army. China is dealing with both with EROs, that means ethnic revolutionary organizations. China is dealing with both, with the junta also. But China is more powerful economically. So if we can give $100, China can give $1,000. We cannot match with China's checkbook diplomacy. We cannot match. India is far behind it. Uh, so China has huge project running from Shan State, connecting its Yunnan province with the Bay of Bengal. Uh, India has also that, but comparatively, China's investment in Burma, Myanmar, is too much, and it is dealing with the junta also. It is friendly ethnic who are fighting the junta also. In that context, if India and China is right now in a bad shape bilateral relationship because of border conflicts, China, India as a sovereign state has to match with China, because Bay of Bengal we have in Andaman, we have Eastern Command of Indian Naval Forces. China is just some miles away. They have a deep sea port in Burma. Now it's a geostrategic issue. How can India sleep when there is a China's military just 100 miles north of India's Eastern Command? We are not talking about South China
I
Sea.
mean,
We are not
I'm not
talking about
blaming in China were definitely involved, but India should, as a democracy country, they should do more. I understand if India did not engage with military junta, as you said, China will be engaged to support military junta in geopolitics. But Chinese know very well about Burma, but maybe India policymaker has a lack of a little bit knowledge and some policy mistakes. And China know they have a lot of suffering or it's inconvenient when military junta government in Burma. They did not enjoy with the military junta for a good standard for in the international relations, in the regional relation for Chinese economy. China lost a lot of economy because of military coup. China lost a lot of, oil fight and a lot of infrastructure. Burmese people, we cannot guarantee Chinese project because that is not people consent Chinese if they work with military junta, any agreement project with military junta, Burmese people are not responsible for that. China know that China already experienced. China feel they have not really enjoyed convenience with military junta. They have more benefit under democracy. During 1950 democracy, during Aung San Suu Kyi government democracy, China had more benefit economically, also better development with China. So that is Chinese side, but at least China was involved any kinds of engagement like military or other things. And ethnic people also know they are enough with the military junta, Burmese politics. Ethnic people have experience arms group. Ethnic armed group, they know they are enough with this military junta. We cannot keep stupid guy in the this political game that may smash up the village, our good town. Nobody benefit. Eventually, the Central Burmese group, they realized that's why the whole country protests and revolt and rebel in the central states in Burma. That's the final understanding about the majority population is Burmese population. That eventually they realize and they, against military now with arms. But the thing is, we need more organized and we need more, strategy. We have lack of strategy among opposition and lack of geopolitics, international politics knowledge among a lot of leadership and selfish and a lot of mistake among opposition as well. But otherwise, we should do quickly and better to rebuild Burmese country and to remove the military dictator. So that is the thing. So my point is, Indians should understand it should be more clever and more, it should be more genuine, sincere in making policy with democracy ideology. Because they claim, the government claim Indian population, toward Indian population, they are the largest democracy. They are committed for democracy. The whole Indian population see like that. But the Indian government not sincerely committed for democracy, especially for neighbor country, regional issue. They should, commit sincerely about democracy. They should approach and, they should give more role. They're supposed to do that because the people appointed the government to do democracy within the country and within the region. But the government failed to support Burmese democracy activists. Even the high-level officer many times refused to, to engage with the activists, democracy activists. I've been sending a letter to Prime Minister and many times with many professors. They receive, but they don't make any commitment. Even they don't, any respond, anything. So that is not sincere about Indian government democracy role in the region, because that is betray to the Indian population, because they have authority, they have the role to do democratization in the region, and they should give more role. If Manipur has some internal region conflict, peaceful area, Mizoram and other states, can do more, central government, to work with Burmese democracy. Even Manipur, there are many things they can do with central government. So that is, I strongly see Indian government and Indian people should understand and they should do that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the paradox of foreign policy. What can we say? Do you know that how much Indian foreign service officers are recruited every year, and the Ministry of External Affairs is manned by how many officers?
How many? I don't know that.
It's less than 1,000, with a population of 1.4 billion, the highest, and with the kind of I don't know rhetoric of becoming a superpower or something. Can you imagine that India wants to play a greater role in the Indo-Pacific and geopolitics, and the policymakers is less than 1,000. It is approximately same as Singapore. Singapore is not even a big state; it's a city state, and that is the paradox. Now, what can I say about it? The thing is that unlike in China, because I have met with Chinese in my longer stay in New Delhi, the way the recruitment is done is completely different. Like you study the same syllabus for recruit for to become a administrative service, police service, for the foreign service also. There is no specialty in foreign service. In fact, the foreign service officers are people who wanted to become something else, but because of rank or something, they ended up become a foreign service. And their mentality, I mean, I'm talking about the 90% or 80%, the top 10% who have legacy about being in the foreign service, they know that. And they are top class. But it is not run by minority, the whole service cadre. So it's a paradox, it's a structural issue with India. And it's a public in the public domain also. And I'm a big critic of that. I have never been in the civil service, although I have friends in ministry who are very close to them. So, and thankfully, it's okay also that I love this assistant, the professorship. I mean, teaching scholarly work than government, because because in Western countries, including in the United States, the government recruit best of the best, like
Right.
who are expertise. India doesn't have an expertise kind of thing. People behave in a very clerical type of mentality. Always talking about not everyone. I'm talking about general mindset. So that is the kind of, and that is something that is a mismatch. That while India project itself, and it really wants to become a great power, but with a great power with men by less experience, uh, uh, minuscule what do you say officers, is it's a mismatch. That is another thing, and that is also one of the contributing factor
What
for it. So
it
basically
means,
people who want to become a administrative service, they ended up as foreign service.
I see.
So
So I
that's
mean, you point out the recruitment issue. I thought IAS or IFF they already made proper selection and proper qualification to be there. I, as you mentioned, there are still problem, in the equipment in India civil service. But I don't know, India economy is growing. The government is reporting many times why it is recruiting more expertise and civil service in foreign minister with their capacity demanded. It's not. I guess it should not be financial issue.
it is not financial issue. It's a minuscule, it's a peanut, nothing with that. India is a big economy. That's the issue. No, like India's GDP is growing like 6-7%, and it is one
Right.
going to be a. But it is not about money. It is about a mentality. Like when we were in Cold War, during the Cold War, you don't need to recruit many foreign officers because India has a non-alignment policy. We don't have our spy agencies are not that active, right? You don't need much. You need a few who is very obedient to the government. But now India, after 1991, India has integrated its economy to the World Trade Organization. 21st century, it's a multi kind of unipolar. That situation is also challenging. India's official policy is multi-aligned. India calls for yearn for a multilateral world order instead of a unipolar world order. India needs more dynamic officers who are a
Right.
backbone of foreign. But it is a paradox again. So it is still, I think, it's still stuck in that Cold War mentality, while at the same time
I
it
guess so.
tries to. It has come out from that. So it is a thing. So I don't know. I really hope that this issue will be resolved in the next 5 6 years, and there will be multiple recruitments. But this is
Right.
still an issue.
Because India as a big country, the largest population in the world and big superpower. India government always say they are major power and they are superpower. So as you said, foreign service is still is insufficient and very uh, few numbers. And I don't know, I'm just thinking it will be very few for East looking policy related officer and Indo-Pacific related officer and related to regional neighboring expertise will be very few, I guess, and very lack of policy skill and knowledge, geopolitical knowledge that will be not effectively able to contribute to make a better policy, foreign policy. Like in case of Burmese issue, even if they don't have their own permanent staff, they can let them other scholar within Indian domestic scholar or overseas foreigner scholar. They can invite, for partially or sometime a kind of policy making. So I can willing to, participate to make better policy, contribute to Burmese issue, so that can make a better policy by Indian government, and it will be also expected by Indian population for democratization in the region. But the action the Indian government done is very insufficient and unsatisfactory. Especially like Burmese people, we never, you know, uh, appreciated because last time Burmese military junta, you know, uh, the fighter enter Indian territory and they attack the Burmese democracy activists. I mean, if they attack other left wing or terrorist group, uh, I'm not saying, but attacking democracy activists is crucial for Indian population. That is assault democracy, So that India foreign uh, foreign ministry department doing nothing, and they cannot even prevent or they cannot even protect or any measurement. I mean, this time India has to make clear policy. Boldly, they should support democratization, like liberal democratization. I have my own right-wing liberal democracy, so I know well about uh, liberal democracy in Burma and how the right liberal democracy can move forward. And I'm not support left wing and authoritarian terrorists. So if Indian government want, we can make a better policy and work together. Like in Manipur, Assam rebel that against Indian government, they are left wing. We Burmese democracy activists, we don't want them to. But because of India government loophole, they support military too, and they did not equip well Burmese activists and not host being very well. That can make, I mean, your insurgent will be more stronger, because if they support us democracy activists, even the insurgent will not dare to stay inside Burma.
Yes, there are many loopholes. India itself um, is an emerging power, and domestically we are lagging behind in human healthcare system, educational system. I mean, on the one hand, I don't want to use the word superpower because it looks very rhetoric. It's a major power. It's a recognized major power in the world. And while we also face many domestic uh, issues, for example, say education system is not that good. We have issues with healthcare system overall. There is a huge social and economic inequality we are facing with that. I think this whole hype about India is also done by Western powers, more particularly, so that India is pampered and cozying in their group so that it fights with China in the geopolitical theaters. India understand that, and I am also certain that India's kind of mentality is completely different from what Chinese or other Asian powers think. That Chinese government is, in the sense that the system is completely different from Indian system. So we cannot expect Chinese kind of development or Chinese kind of strategic, maneuvering uh, that India could do. But India and China is a fact that it is, if not rival, is not in good terms. We are competing with China, but we also want, like China, not less than China. We also want Burma, which is democratic, uh, which is prosperous. We also want it because it benefits us. It solves many of our northeastern issues. Also, Burma is prosperous. So my final word is, India has its own issues, but the willingness, the political as well as the willingness to develop itself and to develop, its neighboring is not less than any other country, including China. And I think that India and China should have a very good relations. It used to be, but it is not used to because of geopolitical things. And this is one of the wishes of many Indians also, but unfortunately, it is not doing that. If China and India cooperate in everything, Myanmar will also prosper. Rest of China is also prosper, but unfortunately, it's not happening. We are very particular about Western propaganda. We are aligning with the United States, but we are also very aware of where to align and where not to align. And military pact is something that India's long time reservations, and we are not having any military pact with any Western powers or any powers. So let's hope that Burma is once again a democratic country, a prosperous country, and we as a scholar will also advise the government or suggest the government that uh, a new regime, which is democratic, returns in Burma, and this is our commitment, at least ideally.
Thank you, Khan, for today. See you next time.
See you, see you. Uh, it's my pleasure to be part of this. Thank you again.
Have a good day.